Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by JL Financial Solutions. If you're an Albertan looking to plan your financial future, you want someone you can trust. Together with Sun Life's estate and financial planning services, JL Financial Solutions will develop a plan you can be confident in to grow and protect your wealth. Give Jonathan Lambert and his team a call at 780-733-0910.
I got to be able to find that 1%. I got to find that little bit more, that one more save, and then I believe that if I do that, I can kind of just get into the flow of things, and everything will. I'll just be able to start playing better.
Stuart Skinner, ready to go if he gets the opportunity in Game 4, but will he? What do you think? Let's get a poll up, Steve. Let's get a poll going right through to the end of the podcast tonight, and we'll reveal the results, because that is the big question, isn't it? Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Off day podcast. Oh, yeah, we were bored. We got to talk hockey. Why not? We got Rob Brown and we have Jason Strudwick and Steve Taylor tonight, ready to rock and roll. Lots of sound from the Oilers, lots of goaltending talk, lots of physical play talk. Leon and Connor keep together, split them up. We're going to dive into it all. Coming at you from our long shot studio out here in Sherwood Park. Remember, all Oiler game nights during the playoffs, all you can eat wings, $25 per person. Got to go give that a rep. Long Shots in Sherwood Park. Check them out at longshots.ca. And as always, our presenting sponsor, very proudly, Sherwood Buick GMC, where last month they were awarded the General Motors President's Club Award, given to the top 50 GM dealerships in Canada. If you or anybody that you know is in need of a vehicle, if that's new, if that's used, whatever it is, highly recommend you go see Phil and the great staff just off Baseline Road on the way to Sherwood Park. They got a streamlined sales process. They respect your time, and they have great vehicles. Bottom line, I've got the Sierra 1500 Elevation. Great truck. Love it. So anything you need vehicle-wise, Sherwood Buick GMC. Okay, on and off night. I love it, boys. A little more relaxed tonight, a little more chill. You know, those post-game ones are a little nuts. It's late. You know, we're kind of all scrambling in different directions. But look at this. We're all in our home studio in Struddy, sipping on a little mango, buds. How's that mango taste? And that shipwreck mango.
Got to take the edge off, guys. Got to take the edge off a little bit. It's hard to do it when we do it after the games. It's like 12:30. Yeah. If I do that, I might not stop. So this is good. This is a good time. A little nightcap for old Uncle Struddy.
Yeah, for sure. Brownie, how's your day? What's an off day like in the world of Rob Brown during the playoffs, buddy?
My day started, let's see, I started with a dog walk for about an hour, went to the gym, then went to the gym. Then I did a podcast today on a different network with Merrick.
Oh, nice.
Then he's a very nice man. I like him.
Yeah,
I did. Very good guy. Then I spent the afternoon with Struds playing hockey with a bunch of high school kids. Then I had to go to physio because I played hockey in the afternoon with Struds. Then I went and taught hockey school at 5, and then I went, and then I walked the dogs, and then I walked downstairs to join my friends Shogger and Strud. So my off day was a busy day.
It's a good day.
Busy day.
I'm not gonna lie. Go ahead, Strud.
Let's just talk a little bit about him being a half hour late to skate. These poor kids are so disappointed. I love is that there's
a fire. Okay, go on.
I looked on. I could not find anywhere where there's a truck on fire on the Henday. Our head coach Warren, not a great looking guy, but anyway, that doesn't matter. He gets a text from Brownie saying, "I'll be late. There's a truck on fire on the Henday." I don't like what it was like 5 minutes we're going on the ice. You should know this a lot, head. So I'm calling bullshit on your I think you just left late. And just say
I was left early. I actually was on time. I thought we discuss things, you and I, God. You know, maybe a practice plan, see what we could do to make these children better. And then I sat on the Henday for 45 minutes. I turned the car off, turned the music up. I actually had my feet out the passenger window, and I was reading the daily news. For 45 minutes, there's a truck on fire on the side of the road, and they shut down the Henday.
Wait a second. What is the daily news? What do you mean you're reading the daily
news of the day? The news of the day. I go through my CNN. I go through my Canada news. I read the local newspapers. I read TSN to see what Schauger has posted, stuff like that. And then I look for some comedy. I listen to, I go on Strud's Twitter account to see what wonderful tidbits that I can get out of him.
Yeah.
So I actually, that was my day. That was my 45 minutes off today, sitting on the side of the Henday.
You have some backing from the Worm. The Worm says actually there was a truck on fire. It was
I was there.
So there you go.
I got a picture of it. And then Struddy pointed out that the picture was from April of 2011. But no, it was today's picture. The poor guy, hopefully the guy got out of the truck because it was burnt bad. I'd show you guys, but I'm having to use this phone that has the picture.
Brownie, show up on time for the kids, man. Okay? Show up on time for the kids.
Yeah,
you know what? A lot of the kids really find me as the true leader, and they really don't listen to Struds. So I thought if I show up late, Struds can have some one-on-one time, maybe work on some off the glasses and out or opening the gate and stuff like that. So I just thought I'd let Struds take the lead.
Yeah, that's fair. And the kids, they said they never had a better practice than that first 30 minutes.
Daniel Bryan wants to know, what music were you jamming to, Brownie? What was your choice?
I would have been listening to country. I would have had my country music going on today. I'm a big country fan. Then there would have been some classic old, as my wife calls me, the easy listening king. I like a lot of old easy listening songs.
Right on. Okay, lots to discuss. There was a suspension we got to dig into. Lots for us to tee up. So let's roll right into the breakdown brought to you by our friends over at Adrenaline Diesel, Edmonton's heavy-duty diesel truck repair shop, performing services from oil changes to engine swaps, overhauls, modified engine work as well. The crew at Adrenaline Diesel, there to get your truck and trailer in great shape like it's right out of the factory. Drop in or check them out online, adrenalinediesel.ca. 1-game suspension for Carson Susi. I will start with you, Struds. How much of an impact does this potentially have on the Canucks' ability, to do some of the things defensively that they like to do? And what do you think of the judgment, sir?
Yeah, first off, I don't think this is fair for Susi. I believe that he was going to strike Connor in the midsection or chest area, and unfortunately for Connor, he got cross-checked. It was the first cross-check from Zadorov from behind, forced him to go down, and that's when he got him in the face. So I actually think it's a bit unfair that he's getting a suspension, and that's someone, I would have said that from either side. I don't think he should have got suspended. That being said, they have to deal with these out, and he's played well for them. He's a good defending defenseman, a big guy. So when they bring in whoever's Jolson, they get a little bit smaller. I don't know how much he's going to play. The flow of the game, I'm not sure it's going to play much. So I think this does help the Oilers quite a bit. They get a little bit worse. They get a little bit smaller, quite a bit smaller. So I really think this is a favorable outcome for the Oilers, and one, quite frankly, I don't think that Susi deserved.
They want to get suspended. Just the look of it. I think what Zadorov did was more vicious. The cross check from behind, there was intent. I don't think it was suspendable, but there was intent by what Zadorov did, and that created, domino effect. Just the look of it, it didn't look good. The cross check across the face. So I thought he was going to get 1 game. I didn't think it was going to be more than that, simply because last year Alex Pietrangelo got a 1-game suspension. That was more vicious, and there was a lot more intent, and that was only a 1-game suspension. So I don't think they could have given more than 1 game, and it will hurt the Canucks. The Canucks right now got a little bit momentum going. They are, in all honesty, they can look at it this way. They're 1 shot away from being up 3-0. They score in overtime. It's 3-0 in the series, they can believe. So this is a tough one. Susi is a big man, and Jolson or Yulson, however you pronounce his name, comes in. He's not Carson Susi. And that means there's going to be more minutes for Tyler Myers. Myers isn't Carson Susi. And Ian Cole, who just wants this series to end because he's slap rock right now with the black rain cloud over top of him, he's got to get more minutes. So the Edmonton Oilers certainly got a break, and they will need to take advantage of not having the big man Carson Susi in the lineup.
So Connor McDavid's been on the ice primarily against Susi and Tyler Myers, 28-47 at 5-on-5 against Carson Susi, 32-07 against Tyler Myers. So they've been using those bigger guys, only 1655 against Quinn Hughes. So their strategy has been to try and get those bigger guys out against them. This fundamentally, this changes the matchup game in this series because McDavid and company are going to see somebody different. Respectfully, Struds, I completely disagree. I think you're responsible for your stick. I think a cross check in the face, and I don't think McDavid's head had gone down that far that it would have made that much of a difference. He probably would have got him in the upper chest or neck area had he just been able to follow through and McDavid not been hit. So I think you have to be responsible for your stick. I think it looked bad. Cross check in the face, considering who it was. I think a game was fair. I think it needed to be done, and I'm good with that call. But certainly respect what you're saying, though, Struddy. Although there are some who are saying mix in a water with that shipwreck rum, bud.
I'm more fun when I don't.
You are. I like Uncle Struddy. I like Uncle Struddy on the sauce tonight. So he's got the shipwreck going. He's already dropped one swear word on the pod tonight. I look forward to what else Struds is going to be bringing tonight on the show.
Well, I've got a great Struddy's World that I'm so proud of it. I've been waiting for this to share this with you guys for a little bit of time. So
we got a tease coming. We got a Struddy's World tease. Now, hockey related, or are we going off the rails with it?
Oh no, it's off. It's not.
On and off the rails.
You're not getting hockey related.
Nice. I love it. On an off night, this is exactly the time to do it. So stay tuned for Struddy's World coming up in a couple of segments. Okay, guys, let's go to Stuart Skinner. Mine as well. And by the way, I mean, we'll know by probably 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning who the starter is going to be. So if you're listening to this in podcast form a little bit later in the day, we have to talk about it here. And we'll talk about lots of other stuff a little bit later on. But to me, it's the only place to start. So Stuart Skinner came out today, talked to the media. I talked a lot last night about the fact it was quite out of character for him to completely duck the media. He didn't do it. That's against the rules. They're not supposed to do it. Skinner came out today. The first thing he said is he apologized. He said, on the record, I just want to apologize for not talking after the game. I hope you guys can forgive me, So all good. It's good that he did that. I think more than anything, they just need to recognize, it's playoff time. And, I'm sure Warren Fogle didn't have fun coming out last night, but you just got to do it. So Skinner put that on the record, and then he was his usual accountable self, had a great media availability today. But one of the questions that I asked him was, that was out of character for you to make a call like that and not to talk. So how are you doing? How are you managing all of the stress of this situation as we get, for the first time here of many tonight, to the Weiss Johnson soundbox?
Again, just last night, I think just the emotions kind of caught up with me, and it was tough mentally, definitely last night. Obviously, you never want to get pulled into a game. Feel like you let down the team. So I got some work to do here to, get back at it and learn from the mistakes that I've been making.
How much of it is mental for you, Stu, and how much it is physical mistakes in the game?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful question. I think as most people say, it's, especially as a goaltender, I think it's at least 90%, maybe more mental. And I've been working on that game, obviously, for a long time. I think physically there's little adjustments that I can make, but to be super honest, I don't think it's anything technical. I think it's just me being able to find saves at key times. And I haven't been able to do that.
Okay. Brownie, what do you think of what he had to say today?
I like the fact that he's always honest. He's earlier in the year when things weren't going well and he came out and said, I'm actually not playing that well. Or being that bad. I think I like my game. It's just a matter of getting the saves hit me or the bounces or whatever. And this time's like, I haven't been good enough. I haven't made the save. And he's truthful. He hasn't. It is a mental thing. I would imagine more so for a goalie than for a regular player. When as a winger, I could make a mistake and I still had about 5 guys that could cover up for me. As a goaltender, when you make a mistake, nobody covers up for you. It's pretty obvious. Mm-hmm. This is a pressure cooker of a city to play in for anybody, more so for a goaltender. There's been a lot of people that have had their daggers out for Stuart Skinner since day one of training camp. There's Oiler fans that are relishing the chance right now to say, I told you so about Stuart Skinner. And as much as players try not to read media, try to stay off social media, they hear it. They read it. So it would affect him. I mean, it's his hometown. It would be hard playing in your hometown because when something goes, everyone applauds you when things are going right. When it goes wrong, they're on you and you hear the whispers. So it would be tough. You could tell emotional the way he talked. I hope that he plays next game and gets a chance to correct some mistakes. I don't know if he's going to get an opportunity, but I do. I think he generally feels bad. It sounds like he feels like he has let his teammates down, and hopefully he's hoping that he gets a chance to make amends on that.
Terrible feeling. That's a terrible feeling when you feel like you let your teammates down, and he cares so much. And I remember I worked with him when he was in grade 9 or was on the ice, and he's just a genuine guy. So I feel really badly for him right now. I think we have to be careful. He is not a disaster, right? I want to be clear. I don't think he's a disaster. I think there are moments where he could have come up with some saves that would have, just changed the course of this series so far. But he's not a disaster. So I listened to his whole avail earlier today, and I feel like the right move is a pause for him. I said it last night, and I feel still today after listening to him. I think that a pause for one game is the right move. A couple of reasons. One, I think that Picard can come in and he'll be excited. He'll do his thing. Two, I think the Oilers are going to come out with a real tight defensive battle, and they're going to bring it. And I think they're going to find some more goals in their lineup. So I think not that it's an easy one for Picard, but I think that it's the right time to make this change. And then I think almost no matter what happens,
don't say
in
it.
Game 5,
don't say it, Struds.
I'm spitting it out.
We are going to matter on you. This is going to be merciless.
Disagree before you even say it.
No, we don't know. You don't know what I'm going to say, although I think you might know. No matter what happens, you come back with Skinner in Game 5.
No,
I feel good about it.
No,
let's go to break. Go to break.
No, let's not go to break.
Roll the credits.
If Calvin, they go in, they play Vancouver tomorrow night, and they beat Camp Vancouver. Say it's 4-1, and Calvin Pickard makes 33 saves out of 34 shots, and stands on his head. You're going to go back to the guy that's been struggling instead of Calvin Pickard, who just beat Vancouver?
Come on, Struds.
Okay, let me get a little context. I believe tomorrow the Canucks will get around 15 to 17 shots. That's Canadian shots, not American. So I think that it's going to be a low shooting game again for them. So there's no way they're going to give up 30 shots.
Okay, and first of all, you said no matter what you said no matter what Skinner's going in the next game. No, that's not true. And they only had 16 shots against Skinner the other night and beat them. So
that's right. I know. So he has to make 2 more saves.
Yeah, no. If this is a thing, if you pull Skinner, and you know what, and whether or not they pull him or not, that's an obligation. I don't think there's a wrong answer. If they want to go with Pickard, I don't think there's a wrong answer. Yeah. But if Calvin Pickard comes in and plays well, you go with Calvin Pickard in the next game. You do. 100% you do. If he plays well, he deserves that crease because the guy that's playing right now, Skinner, isn't playing well. So if you're going to decide you're going to go with Calvin Pickard and he gives you a great game, you're going back to Calvin Pickard when you go, because now it's a best of 3 with 2 games in Vancouver. So there's no room for error. There's no room for feelings anymore. Well, this guy, he might have a bounce back game. If Calvin Pickard goes in, and that's still an if, and if Calvin Pickard plays well, again an if, Calvin Pickard stays in net.
Stu Skinner for Game 5 would be really pissed off. We've seen Stu's very zen-like. We've never really seen him pissed off. I want to see an angry goalie in net. I
want to see a goalie make saves in net. And if Calvin Pickard makes saves, he gets to stay in net. I don't care how angry the other guy is.
Well, we agreed to agree that I'm right. And we'll just see what happens.
You know what? I could agree with you right now, Struds, but then we'd both be wrong. So no.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to break the tie here, and you know which way I'm going to go. Struddy, I love you. But, you're not exactly the goaltender whisperer, I would say. But I like what you're saying. There's some boldness to that. But I think that this is the playoffs, and this is not the time to piss around. I don't care if Calvin Pickard goes in and stops 7 out of 7 shots, or 5 out of 7 shots, or 3 out of 7 shots. Right. If the Oilers win the game and Calvin Pickard's in net, you go back to Calvin Pickard. It has to make sense. It has to make sense. And for you to change goalies after a win in another must-win, really important game, I don't think there's much sense to that. So lovingly, my friend, Could not disagree with you more. Again, for a second time in the first, 19 minutes of the pod. Okay. Two strong disagreements.
So put your ellipticals on the line, and what happens? Who starts tomorrow? I believe it'll be Pickard. Who do you guys got?
I believe it should be Pickard, and I believe it will be Pickard. Brownie?
I think it's going to be Skinner. But I have no problem with Pickard starts. I have no skin in this game. I think it'll be Skinner. Know what the others need. Skinner was at his best when Struds was shooting at him in grade 9. It was a confidence builder for Skinner. I think the others should have Struds come out and shoot on him tomorrow in the morning skate.
I did have a good practice today, guys. I was looking good.
Were you? Struddy, you're feeling good, buds?
Couple good, yeah. So I'd be happy, but I honestly, no, a couple takeaways from the slow kids. But in all honesty, I think there's two decisions for Knobloch, and it could define the playoffs moving forward. Well, who starts at net, and do you split up Connor and Leon? Everything else after that.
Okay, we'll get to that after. I agree. Okay. Important decisions. Calvin C says Struds is a wild man. Some say an enigma. Kyle Gailey says, I agree with Struddy.
There it is. You're welcome.
FSVC says Stu has the worst save percentage in the playoffs since 2005, minimum 15 games played. He's 69th out of 69 goalies in save percentage, not a small sample size anymore. So this gets us back to the Weiss Johnson sound box. Mm-hmm. Furnace and duct cleaning, an important part of any home comfort system. The cleaner, your furnace, and ducts, the cleaner, your air. Add a call to Weiss Johnson to your spring cleaning list or get in contact with them at Weiss-Johnson. Just hold on, Steve. Weiss-Johnson.com. Weiss Johnson did a little work for me today. I had them come out, do a quote. My buddy Ken came out. They're awesome. They're thorough. They're informative for guys that, maybe don't know a ton about certain things like this. They walk you through it. They hold your hand. Highly recommend the great crew at Weiss Johnson. Jingle. Weiss Johnson, nice. Good timing. I like it. So Stuart Skinner, I asked him this question today. There is the 500-foot view at his numbers. By the way, that 500-foot view in the series, 790 save percentage in the series. These playoffs, 877. Career playoffs, 881. That is the 500-foot view. Or you can look at each individual game and go goal by goal by goal. And how much was that his fault? How much was that not? And you can kind of pick it apart. So how, as a goalie, do you process how ugly the numbers are in the big picture versus the need to actually go through goal by goal? And here's Stuart Skinner's response.
Yeah, like the numbers don't lie. They're saying what they say. Well, they lie a little bit, but they, I think that, it is what it is. It shows you kind of what's been happening as a result base. Do I feel like I'm playing at those numbers a little bit? Has some good goals gone in? Yeah. Has some bad goals gone in? Yes. So either way, I got to stick with it and just keep going.
Stuart Skinner, accountable today. I liked a lot of what he had to say. It's going to be interesting to see the decision that gets made tomorrow. Okay, we're going to adjust the lineup a little bit here, Struds. We would normally do our Relentless player, but we still got some games going on, and we'll hold off on that. So we'll do our Relentless player, brought to you by You Can Use Services. Brownie, love the t-shirt there, bud. Let's see that thing. Relentless. You Can Use Services. That's coming up in a little bit. So we're going to take a quick break now. We'll do our scoreboard later as well. When we come back, let's talk about what you do with those lines. Let's talk about Connor and Leon. Let's talk about physicality. Does it matter at this time of year? I went in search of that answer in the Oiler locker room, and I got to be honest, I heard a pretty consistent answer. You might be interested in what they had to say. We'll get into that coming up. The fastest growing male grooming company on the planet just got even better. Backscape 2.0 with a revolutionary friction fit handle makes the razor easy to pop in and out to shave not only your back, but anywhere on your body. And those hard to reach spots just got even easier with the new ergonomic design. Backscape's new titanium shave head makes for a smoother, more comfortable shave that respects your skin. Backscape 2.0. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
On paper, my life looks exciting.
In reality, not so much.
Every day it's same old, same old.
Clock in, clock out.
Then I discovered Play Alberta. I can play casino games anytime.
Bet on any game.
And buy lottery tickets anywhere in Alberta. I think my spleen is ruptured.
All right, let's get to our takeaways. To you by Martin Motorsports. So do you remember the Heritage Classic this year, guys? You remember the Oilers showed up in those wicked side-by-sides? Those were provided by Martin Motorsport. There they are. You remember that? They have a large selection of these Can-Am Defenders in stock starting at only $168 bi-weekly. Those things are fantastic. How much fun does that look like? Everything is easier with a Defender by your side. Stop by Martin Motorsports, South or West Edmonton, to get in the seat of one of those beauties today. Takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Okay, gentlemen, we'll get to the lines in a moment, but I want to talk a little bit about style o play. How much does hitting matter in the playoffs? I've been on this for a little bit here. I get lots of people reaching out on social media, kind of making fun of me, thinking that we're too fixated on hit totals. Maybe we are. I don't know. But Struds, you talked about last game, the Oilers not meeting the moment early on in the game, right? The Vancouver Canucks came to play. The Edmonton Oilers did not. And I guess my thought would be one of the ways you can make sure that you're there to meet the moment is to take care of those small details. And hitting is one of those small details that I think you take care of, and it just helps you meet whatever moment is happening in the playoffs, Struds. My submission, the Oilers are not doing enough of it. My submission is not enough players on this lineup feel like it's their responsibility. Overall, they're too easy to play against as a result of it, and it's not the formula to win in the postseason, Struds.
So I was watching the Dallas Colorado game, and my old teammate Ryan Callahan, he was the color man on there, and then he started just out of nowhere talking about physicality, and he said, you know what, no matter what type of player you are, it's everyone's job to finish checks. This guy played 121 playoff games. That's a lot. That's a lot. You think of some of the top guys are just over 200. So he's deep into a lot of playoff games. So he knows what it looks like. He knows what it feels like. So, I think I played a handful. I played even 5 or 6, not barely any. So it's one thing to take my word for it, but another guy who's a veteran who's played a ton of them before, you do need to make it uncomfortable for the other team. Again, you don't have to run guys through the wall and plow guys, but you need to invest in the physicality to wear the other team down. And, depending on where the lineup, I think it even adds more pressure to do it. And, we talked about the kind of the guys I think have to find it more in the game last night, Brownie, and just in general. And you may be nicked up or whatever, but you still got to find it, man. You got to find a way to finish some checks, and it slows the other team down over the 7 games.
Well, just look at Doughty at the beginning of the series against the Oilers, and Doughty on game 4 and 5. The physicality took its toll on him. Look at Quinn Hughes. Anyone watched the Vancouver-Nashville series? Last couple games, Quinn Hughes looked like he'd seen a ghost. Every time he stepped on the ice, the physicality, it changes the way you play. It wears you down. In my career, I've been fortunate enough to play everywhere in the lineup. I've been on a first line, but I've also been on the 4th line. And where you play in the lineup dictates the way you have to play. In the playoffs, everybody is supposed to hit, but Leon and Connor do not have to go out and lead the brigade. But if you're on the 3rd and 4th line, you have to hit. Every check, you have a chance to finish a check. You finish a check. You never fly by. And it does not have to be going through the wall and everyone, but if you just continue to lean on someone over and over and over again, and if they know now, all of a sudden they hear footsteps and the puck gets thrown away a little quicker. We've seen Evander Kane when defensemen in the 2nd and 3rd period, they see Kane come, puck gets thrown away a little bit quicker because they're trying to protect themselves from the hit. So physicality isn't everything, but physicality is certainly important in the playoffs. Now, in last game, I will give in the 2nd and 3rd period, the Oilers a bit of a pass on the physicality. They had the puck the whole time. But in the 1st period, That's when the game was won by the Vancouver Canucks. They were the more physical of the two teams. They set the tone in the first shift with 2 huge hits on home. So there are players in the Edmonton Oilers that have more to give physically, and it's pretty easy to figure out who you are. If you ain't scoring, you better be doing something else that's helping your team win. Chris Knobloch talked about it. So this isn't just us sitting on here talking about it. Chris Knobloch talked about it. So have an impact on the game in some way, in a positive way.
I'm going to get to Knobloch in a second here, Brownie, but that's going to be part of my point here. I don't believe it's an expectation on this team. I don't think they believe that that is truly an integral part of the formula to win in the playoffs. Either they don't believe it or they're just not saying it openly. A couple of the answers today led me to that understanding because I've been asking about this. We'll run you through a couple of stats. We'll let you hear some sound. Ryan McLeod, no hits in 4 of his last 5 games played. But he's got 2 shots in that time. So there you go. 2 years ago, 8 straight games, no hits in the playoffs. Had 1 the last game of the playoffs against the Colorado Avalanche. 8 straight games, 0 hits. 2 years ago for McLeod in the playoffs. Last year, started hitting a little bit more against Vegas. Cody Susi, last 6 games played, 2 hits. 2 registered hits. Connor Brown, 2 games played, 15:37 of total ice time. 2 hits. That's what he's there for. Skate fast, finish checks. You're supposed to be an energy guy. So, Chris Knobloch, how do you feel your team is doing on the physical end of things? Do you think that it's part of the formula to win, and are you getting enough of that from your team? Here he is today.
Usually the team that has the most hits is usually the losing team because they are chasing the puck. You're the defending, so you often don't want to have more hits. But as a team collectively, when there's an opportunity, hits, and not necessarily has to be a big bone crunching hit, but just having little rubs and little just slowing them down, defending them, just makes it a little frustrating for the opposition. And overall, I think throughout the playoffs, maybe there's some games where we could have had a little bit more. But as a team collectively, I thought we've been doing pretty well at that. And maybe there's 1 or 2 guys that could give us a little more. But overall, as a team, I want us to be checking with our legs and sticks. That's the most important. And then the third is playing the body.
Are you kidding me? I don't get it, guys. And I understand now why they're playing the way they play. If that's the expectation, the message from the coach, well, no wonder guys aren't going out of their way to do it. So clearly guys that do it aren't going to get rewarded, and guys who don't aren't going to get punished, because it doesn't sound like it's part of the expectation at all. Here's Connor McDavid.
Well, they defend really well. I've said
wrong one.
Physically, I think we've been fine. I think we'd just rather challenge those big D-men by using their legs and getting on top of them.
Sure, you can't run over Zadorov. You can't run over Myers. Fair enough. What about the rest of them? Like, guys, I don't. Am I drunk? I think they're completely wrong about the way they need to be playing. I think they're completely wrong about this particular issue. I don't think it doesn't sound like it's expected from the group. I don't think it's coming from the group. And I think if they don't do it, Brownie, they're not getting where they want to go. It's a minimum requirement, and it doesn't seem to be required.
Well, first of all, you're not drunk. It's Struds that's drunk. So feel good about yourself.
Try it.
Well, I can't speak for anyone other than myself in this. I've been in junior. I was a pretty good player. And when I played against teams, they're physical with me. It wears you down. I love playing no-hitters. I love it when I go out there and not have to fear from getting my head taken off and give me more time to make plays. You look at, I agree with the fact you don't run Zadorov or Myers. You try to beat them with speed, chip and chase, and Susi. Because running those guys, you're bouncing off anyways. You're probably going to do more damage to yourself. But Pettersson and Besser and Garland and JT Miller and certainly Quinn Hughes and Vronick on the back end, it takes its toll. And I think we as Oilers fans have seen in the past how hits have changed series. Torres against San Jose, Zach Cassian against San Jose and Anaheim or whatever it was. Like, they've changed the complexion of series. So yes, I do believe that the Oilers, I'm looking for Connor and Leon or Nuge to be leading physically, although they do most nights, Connor and Leon, but know your role, know what you are, and continue to lean on them. You cannot do a flyby. So now I don't know if Chris Knobloch, if this is just what he's saying to the media, or if this is what he's saying in his dressing room, but they've talked about it. We've seen Evander Kane, and he's talked about how he can lead by example physically. We saw what he did with Drew Doughty every time he had a chance. We've seen Evander Kane against Quinn Hughes. And Struddy, to me, being the most physical team doesn't mean you're going to win the game. But I believe if you go later in a series, and I believe this series is going, well, if the Oilers want to win, it's going 6 or 7. The more physical you are in games 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe that will wear and tear the opposition players, especially the smaller players. And the Vancouver Canucks have plenty of players that you can still finish checks on that aren't 6'7", 260 pounds.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it. And I'm actually a little bit surprised by what Knobloch said there, and I understand what he's trying to say. Right, you don't want to run out of position. You want to like check sticks, check bodies. I get all that, and not be running out of your spot. But there is a time for that because it does set the tone of the game. I think if you go back and watch the start of that game against Oilers, Lindholm and Dakota Joshua plowed over Ekholm, and it kind of sets the tone. And the Oilers have players that can do that. I really do believe that in their lineup. They have guys that can hit and skate and be physical and all that stuff. So it's surprising to hear him talk like that. But I mean, that's his game plan. And obviously, he's learning on the fly here as well. But what it looks like, if it doesn't work out the way the Oilers want, it'll be interesting to see if he revises it as he moves through, the summer and then into would be another playoff drive, I guess, next year.
And I think part of the telltale sign here, guys, is that it's not a requirement, is that you have guys that are showing signs of life in that way. And they don't get rewarded for it. Like, it's not, you get guys that are out there and they're trying to, Matthias Janmark had some snarl last night and some pushback, right? And what did he get for it? 6 minutes and 18 seconds. He's not sending the message that meanwhile, the other guy, Rick Tocchet, talking post game about if you want to play, you got to play hard. You got to get things done. And he's benching guys and bringing other guys in, and those guys coming in are getting the message and playing that way. He demands it from his group, and the Canucks are playing that way. So I like Chris Knobloch a lot. I think he's done a lot of great things. I think he handles his bench really well. I'm just surprised that there isn't an expectation of a higher standard of emotional and physical buy-in in these playoffs, whether you're built to do it or not. I'm surprised that tone isn't obvious, that it isn't just obvious, of course. And maybe he's just not willing to say it, but based on the way they play and based on what they're saying, just doesn't sound like it's something that they think is that important, Brownie.
Well, again, there's a coach speak for the media and for the fans, and there's coach speak for the dressing room. So what he tells us doesn't mean
but it's
what
his
he's
actions
telling
too, right? Like,
he's not
rewarding it.
Well, this is what I said last night when you said that if you play harder, you'll get more ice time. And I said, well, that's not true. And I pointed out Ryan and Janmark as the two guys who I thought brought it physically and brought it with energy and didn't get more ice time. To me, all you have to do is watch the
Ryan
playoff.
last night.
But he's involved. Derek Ryan is involved.
Who is getting rewarded? I'm interested to think, which player do you think are getting rewarded for any style of play? I don't think there's anyone, and I hate to change the topic.
No, that's okay, bud. No, I think that's fair. So Dylan Holloway, I think, has seen some elevation through the lineup. So there's a player who is getting a bounce. I think it's as much about his play.
I think
some
that's
elevation there, right? But I think it's more about guys who continue to be completely disengaged, and there's zero consequences for them.
Well, there is consequences, though. There is consequences. How many minutes did McLeod play last night? 10?
11:06.
So there are consequences. He's a guy that usually plays 15 or something like that. So he's getting less ice time.
Well, dry
To be honest,
29:04.
Oh, I
So
know.
there's
Yeah,
an
so
extra 5 minutes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but so let's-
100%.
But let's be clear. So let's get to the meat of this. How can I get rewarded when I'm playing less than 10 minutes? Or how can I get involved in the game? I think that he's handling the team wrong. The physicality, I think, is, but it's like the zit that pops because you're not playing enough in the game. Brownie pointed out to me today really intelligently, 5 players didn't play more than 10 minutes. 5. That's almost half your forwards didn't play. They played less than 10 minutes. How can you get everyone involved and that's happening? I think that's a major challenge for this group. And you want me to get buy-in? Give me some minutes. I got to be at least the third line's got to be all at least north of 10 minutes.
Oh, way north of 10 minutes if you're a third line.
The third line, at least.
Yes.
At least.
So Connor McDavid asked flat out, can you keep doing this? Like, Maddie said, like, are you tired? How are you feeling?
Are you getting tired?
No, I feel great.
Of course he's going to say that. What do you think he's going to say?
Ultimately, I go out there when the coach asks me to, and that's what I'll keep doing.
29-42 in regulation last game. 23 minutes at even strength.
Okay.
It's not the formula, right?
What player is going to say he can't play? What player is going to say, you know what, actually, it's too much. Yeah. He's got to back me up. So, of course, he's happy. He's at the top of the pyramid. He is the best player in the world. He wants to and should play all the time. But the coach's job is to pare it down. It's wrong. You know what he didn't say? Not going well.
You know what he didn't say? He didn't say, yep, no problem. Didn't say that. He said, I'll go out there when the coach tells me to.
Yeah.
So
listen,
we got to ask these questions. Is it sustainable? Yeah, of course he's going to go out when the coach wants him to go out. So we can all agree the minutes need to come down. So let's start paring this conversation down a little bit. Brownie, you're splitting them up tomorrow, correct? If you're in charge?
Yeah, I am, because the Vancouver Canucks right now only have to take one big deep breath because there's only one line right now that's creating anything offensively.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm splitting them up tomorrow. I'm splitting them up with the option of putting them back together at certain times in certain situations.
Struds, you splitting them up tomorrow?
Oh, 100%. I don't even let them sit beside each other in the dressing room.
I just spend no time together tomorrow.
Don't even look at each other. You're not going to go on the ice together. Because listen, what happens when you split them up is that now 4D or 2 sets of D have to worry about playing against one of those 2 guys. And all of a sudden, Kane or Nuge get excited because they're like, holy geez, I'm playing with this guy or I'm playing with that guy. Like, and then everyone gets more minutes. You got to get everyone involved in these games. You want me to hit? I got to play. I got to be out there. It is so hard when you do not get minutes to play to get out there and perform and get your feet going, because it takes a whole shift to get your feet going. Then you come off and you sit there for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. And then 3 more promotions. They're throwing donaires all the top. If you're trying to grab some, because you're probably not getting out there again. Like, I just don't know why this is so difficult. Every time there's a new coach, Derek Ryan talked about everyone. We got to play everyone. And then they'd stop playing everybody. And I'm not talking about playing everyone equally, but get them out there more often. You want to cut it down to 3 lines? I can live with that. But 1 line and then 1 or 2 other lines, it doesn't work. It does not work. It hasn't worked.
Do we agree Dylan Holloway likely gets a bump into the top 6? Do we think it's time for that?
It depends if Henrique plays or not. But if Henrique's not playing, then yes, I think Dylan Holloway is one of your top 6. I think he's earned it. And I think coaches feels that way.
Plays, by the way. Feels unlikely to me that Henrique plays.
Well, then I go with Dylan Holloway in my top 6.
Struds?
You could put Jack Campbell on the top line for all I care. As long as Connor and Leon are together, it's going to be better. I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding. That's how it has to be.
Campbell, first line, right wing.
No, he's a second liner. He's still behind Hyman, so don't be putting him ahead of Hyman.
So just let me get this straight here. If Pickard wins, bench him.
That's
Campbell,
right.
first line, right winger.
Hey, this is where you come. This is the podcast you come to get the intelligent analysis by Jason Strudwick.
I'll admit, I'm going a little over the top, but I like everyone who stops me. Oh, it's so great to see those guys playing all the time. I don't get it. Why do you think it's so great? It's not working. What do you want to do? It has.
Zulu says, Struddy, don't listen to them. You're 100% right. You've got lots of supporters on the pod. Okay, great segment, guys. Martin Motorsports. brought you that takeaway
Alrighty.
segment. Steve, when we come back, we're going to do brownie points and we're going to do Struddy's World all in the same segment. So let's grab a break and then let's get to those. For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com. Okay, heroes, are you trying to tough it out through a sports or life injury right now? Trying to prove your mettle by grinding through, gritting your teeth? Well, Redefined Health is here to say it's time to come on in. At Redefined Health, they'll high-five you for your toughness and then get to work on helping you fix the problem. Helping athletes and heroes find better balance, performance, and injury prevention. Visit redefinedhealth.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Welcome back to the show. Still have the poll up on the YouTube chat. Who gets to start for Game 4? I'm not going to give you all the results yet, but what I will say, Zuby has a firm lead on Jack Campbell for starting game number 4 on our Weiss Johnson Twitter poll. Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products, locations in Calgary and Edmonton. If you are a contracting business or a contractor, let DLR help you add vinyl fence to your product line. Reliable, unmatched service, high-quality North American-made products. It's great stuff. It's my brother's company. Rick runs the branch here in Edmonton. Rob runs the branch out in Calgary. Give him a shout or visit him online, dlrvinylproducts.ca. Struds, you were pumping your own tires earlier.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this all show. Bring it, bud.
I use this platform at times to voice my displeasure with things that are going on in the world or change I'd like to see, about 6 weeks ago, I raised the issue of a local business an international business to change their policy when it came to what you can put it on their sandwiches. Of course, I'm talking about Subway and yellow mustard. They decided to take it off the menu, and they said they give you little packs like we're some kind of animals, and we have to open those little packs. You can never open the side. Fingers are too big. It was just a disaster, absolute disaster. So I didn't boycott them. I love Subway. I didn't boycott them, but I went to some other products they have. I went into Subway Saturday, and I walked in, and tears started flying down my face. I said to the sandwich artist, that's what I like to be called behind the desk. I said, "Is that yellow mustard?" He said, "Yes." The people were so upset, we had to bring it back.
Come on.
So we did it, everybody. We did it. I'm not saying it was all because of me, but obviously there was a big part of it. But together, collectively, we spoke the truth and said, you need to have yellow mustard to give sandwich artists the chance to spray it across our beautiful subs. And so it's back, everybody. We can rest easy. Not everything cured in the world, but we cured one small problem for people who love to get Subway sandwiches.
Man, there's so little value ever to come out of Struddy's World, and that is a significant change you've made, Struds. Like you, honestly, bud, you've accomplished something with this segment, which I know you want. I mean, that's meaningful. Bud.
It's like, I think it's Mother Teresa who said, "Be the change you want to see in the world," and just small change, and people should be thanking me. So. We're back to yellow mustard at Subway, everybody. Rest easy. What should I do next? I was trying to get sand out of the parks for kids. That's a little bit bigger project, I think.
I can't wait till they erect your statue in front of Subway holding a little package of mustard.
Just hold it.
And as the fact that what are we animals? They give us packets. I'm like, what animal are they giving packets? A little packet, a little mouse out there trying to open up. Like, why is that animals? If
they're hard to open.
But why would
they're really?
But why are you calling yourself an animal? Like, is that something that you do with animals? You give them little packets of mustard?
It's like throwing peanuts at an elephant. Here, enjoy this snack, or giving a horse a big apple. What I want, it's way harder. It's like I want something that's easy, and they just spread it across. I always do 2 runs.
I think you're an elitist though, because you just don't want to have to make your own sandwich. You want someone making a sandwich for you.
I make great sandwiches at home. I make an unreal sandwich. Buns, great. Everything's tight. But anyway, so I just want to thank everyone for voicing their displeasure.
Not once in my lifetime have I put yellow mustard on a Subway sub. I'll be honest with you. I have never done it. I never do it.
Wow.
Ever.
Oh, I haven't put mustard or vegetables on a Subway sub. So
you said that before, Brown. It's just bread and meat. That's weird.
No,
vegetables?
No, just the Subway melt. Yeah, and I get it with chips and a sippy cup. Yes, I am 7. Subway melt with mayonnaise and a medium Sprite.
Shocker, let me guess. You're a mayo. Let me guess. Extra mayo.
Oh,
no, not good. Extra mayo.
Just terrible.
No, there's no extra mayo. Okay. I'll take you through my Subway order, and it's going to land with a thud. It's going to land with a thud. All right, here it is. I'm going to get killed for this, but I'm doing it. Going to be vulnerable here. Foot-long veggie on flatbread, lettuce, green peppers, pickles, tomatoes, cucumbers, banana peppers, a little bit of light mayo, pepper, and barbecue sauce.
Seriously, if I had what you had, it would end up being just a bun with mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Because all the other things you put on it suck. That's honestly, worse than mine. Seriously, that is worse than mine.
This is an honest question, Sugar. Why not just get a salad? Like, why? Because that's
get rid of the carbs. It'd be better for you.
When the Earl of Sandwich, and I've done a lot of research on this, first created the sandwich, the intention was to always have meat on it. You don't have a meatless sandwich. It's not a sandwich. That's a salad on a bun. Call it what it is. That's what you're getting, and you're paying for it.
You shouldn't have been. You shouldn't have been vulnerable. You shouldn't have. Yeah. No, not this time.
That's unreal.
Can we like rewind this and just not show the public this? Like this isn't live, is it?
Get a veggie platter. Just get a veggie platter from Safeway.
Gomez says just get a barbecue salad. Austin Peterson says if you combine Brownie and Ryan's orders, you actually get one sandwich. Which is a good point by Austin Peterson. All right, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Here on Struddy's World, we're changing the world. Can't wait to see what's next. Time now for Brownie Points, brought to you by our good friends at Hamel's Beef Jerky. Hamel's Premium Jerky. This Alberta-based family-owned business opened in 1962. For the entire month of May, they got a deal for you. 1.5 pounds of jerky for $55 and free shipping. Mix and match from their 14 flavors. Fast shipping anywhere in Alberta. Visit albertajerky.com. Time for our favorite segment of the podcast. Brownie?
Well, I'm going to start first. I'm giving 50 brownie points to the Dallas Stars. There was some bad news today in Colorado where they lost one of their star players for 6 months, and they lost one of their star defensemen for the game. And the Dallas Stars jumped all over them. I think the shots were 25-7 at one point. The score is now 4-1 for the Dallas Stars. They're about to go up 3-1 in the series. So the Dallas Stars took advantage of a depleted Colorado Avalanche team, so 50 points for them. I got 100 brownie points for the Carolina Hurricanes, down 3-0. Nobody gave them a chance. They won on home ice. They went into the New York Rangers, losing going into the third period, come back and win that game. It ain't over. The Carolina Hurricanes going home with a chance to tie up the series 3-3. I've got 7 brownie points, 7 for the number of Susi. For the NHL getting it right. There should have been a suspension despite what Jason Strudwick said, and they made the suspension. I think it's one game. I think it is deserved. It did not look good. I disagree with you a bit, Schauger. I don't think because it's Connor McDavid, who the person is, it should be a suspension. It should be a suspension if it was Dylan Holloway. You cross-check a guy in the face, you deserve to sit out a game. So Carson Susi, the NHL got that one right. I am taking away 34 brownie points from Jason Strudwick, who is going to pull the goalie after he gets a 22 shutout in game 4 of a must-win game in a series that the Edmonton Oilers are trailing in. So the goalie whisperer Struds loses 34 points.
Is that the first time you've taken points away from Struds.
It is, and if he keeps throwing stuff out like that, he's going to have no brownie points by the end. He's going to have nothing by the end of May, and he'll have to go through. He'll be summerless. He'll be pointless in the summer.
Am I even, or am I ahead of Struds now?
You were until I'm taking away.
No,
I'm taking away a foot long worth of brownie points for getting the, like, seriously. Having a salad on a bun, that does not get you anything in the positive ledger.
How many
so
did I lose? How many?
A foot long worth. So how many is in a foot long? 12. 12 brownie points gone from Schauger, because as bad as my sandwich is, with no veggies, it has meat. And James Earl Jones, who came up with the sandwich, he wanted meat on his sandwich because that's what Struddy said. So you lose 12 brownie points.
It makes so much sense.
Can live with that. I thought it was going to be worse. Brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Struds, do you wish to object?
No.
To your loss of brownie points tonight?
No, I listen. He can hand them out freely, but when I'm proven right after Game 5, well, just an apology. That's all. An apology and plus 35 points, just so I'm above the floating line.
All right. That was Brownie Points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Brownie, great job tonight, buddy. Thanks for doing this.
It was a pleasure. See you guys tomorrow.
Be on time. Be on time.
Yeah.
I will. I'm going to leave early just in case of the fire on the Hyundai.
Brownie, thanks, pal. Okay. He's gone. Okay. Steve-O, sorry, pal. You said we have one more break, right?
Yep,
and then we'll get to take a lap and ask us anything. That's what we got left.
And the scoreboard.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Well, Brownie just did the scoreboard and brownie points, but yeah, sounds good. We'll do the scoreboard right before Ask Us Anything. So stay with us. Very short break, and Struds and I are going to take a lap. Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca.
Spring is here, and if you're thinking of buying a new home during the housing market hot period, contacting a mortgage broker should be your first step. Maria Gallus with Maximo Mortgages can guide you with a stress-free experience. With access to dozens of different lenders, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you ready to put an offer in on your dream home. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
The Brindley family has made it their mission to create the best tasting flavored rums on the planet, and they've knocked it out of the park with their Shipwreck rums. Brewed off the small Caribbean island of St. Kitts, their spiced rum is aged 4 years in bourbon barrels and infused with natural vanilla. Their Shipwreck vanilla is blended with natural Madagascar vanilla, giving it incredible smoothness. One sip and you'll agree, it truly is a vacation in a bottle. Available at your local liquor retailer. Please enjoy responsibly.
Let's take a lap, shall we? Or two, brought to you by Backscape, the fastest growing male grooming company on the planet. And it's even better now. The 2.0 handle is here. The Friction Fit handle lets you effortlessly snap the shaver in and out to touch up the rest of your body. I've tried it. Works really good. Works easily. Go to backscape.com. Use promo code GYB10. That gets you 10% off your first order. Backscape. Stay smooth, gentlemen. Mr. Strudwick. Where are we taking lap number one, bud?
Well, the news of the day, the story of the day, a sad story, obviously, for a young man, Valery Nikushkin, according to multiple reports, failed a drug test, and he's been put into stage 3 of the NHL and NHLPA substance abuse program. And with that comes a 6-month mandatory without pay suspension. And then after that, they can talk about bringing it back. So the story goes, or it plays out that this morning, the Avs thought they're getting Drouin back, and they're going to have this deep kind of team now with everyone kind of coming back and healthy up front, at least. And then they find out midday that Nikushkin won't be playing with the team and has some real challenges, from personal challenges he needs help with, right? So we wish him the best. But tonight in the game, I watched the first couple of periods, or up till the podcast, and the Colorado Avalanche looked unsettled. And obviously, a friend of yours is going through something really difficult. They're in the playoffs. So yeah, I hope the best for him. But this is a pretty significant story for the individual and for that team and for their community for sure.
Definitely echo the sentiments. Wish him well. Suspended without pay for 6 months, and then he can apply for reinstatement. So this is a major, and you certainly hope that he's doing okay. On the hockey side, guy had 9 goals in 8 games here.
Yeah. He was playing, and he was a monster. He's a really good player. You think about the way his career went, high pick, and just couldn't get it organized, and then comes to Colorado and signs a massive deal. So he has 6 years after this at just over $6 million a year. And I know that there's bigger things than money, but those are the details out there. And then the next step, if he were to have another setback, if he comes back and has another setback, it's a year suspension.
Yeah.
And without paying, again, no guarantee of any return to the NHL. So he's, he has a lot of challenges, and he needs support and help. And I hope he gets those things, because it's, you just feel so badly for him, right? He's from the outside, looks like he has the world, by the tail. And then here he is trying to sort this stuff out personally, where obviously there's a lot of challenges for him.
By the way, this is a player, Struds, who turned his NHL career around in a dramatic way. High draft pick. Didn't look like it was going to pan out necessarily. Turned his career around, new lease on life in Colorado, earned himself the big contract. By the way, Devon Taves also out for the Avalanche tonight, and I know they're going to be hurting from that one. That guy is a hugely important blue liner in that lineup.
Yeah, it looked like Sean Walker was playing beside Makar, from what I watched. Number 2, the Leafs, obviously, their stories never end. They're trying to figure out who the next coach is going to be. Again, according to some insiders, including Elliot Friedman, Craig Berube, formerly of the St. Louis Blues, Stanley Cup winner, was interviewed on Saturday, and it could be announced by this week who their new coach would be. And it makes sense. Like, they have their president, they have their GM, so may as well figure out their coaches, and then the coach and GM can sit down and figure out what needs to be done, what is a roadmap through, I guess, the draft, Shoggy, and then any trades in there, and then into free agency. So I'd make sense get it done sooner or later.
So the thing I like about Berube is I think, at times when an organization makes a coaching change, they feel the need to go with kind of a polar opposite of what they had. Right. So Keefe, I think, more players coach, probably wasn't that hard on the guys overall. And so, the GM gets in there and is like, oh, they need a hard message. Right. And frankly, we've seen that from Brad Treliving, to be honest with you. He did that in Calgary with Daryl Sutter, bringing him in and dropping him on that group after some coaches that were maybe not necessarily, thinkers that way. And I don't think that's necessarily what the Toronto Maple Leafs need. I think Toronto Maple Leafs need someone. I think Berube is a good choice, because I think, from everything you hear, he's a good combination of being hard on guys with high expectations, but also being an open door guy that is a good communicator with his players. I think he's respected. I think that's the right type of coach to send into that situation where the guys are probably feeling a lot of tension and will be. It's not Rod Brindamore. Brindamore was a higher end player, and that's different, but it's kind of similar situation, kind of light, I think, with Berube, Struds. And I think that's better than a polar opposite.
But no disrespect to Rod the Bod. He's never won anything as a coach, right? And I think that does matter. If you're looking at it, you got to say, okay, because remember when Berube came in there, that team was left for dead, and he dragged them out and got them going, and they had a pretty good run as a group. The thing I find interesting is when I look at I went back and looked at that St. Louis Blues team, the players compared to the Leafs. I'm not sure you can play the same style of hockey he did with that team. So
that's fair, man.
Can he tweak? And not that I'm not suggesting Leafs players aren't smart or good or anything like that, but the Blues were kind of like heavy. They had a guy named Pietrangelo, Jay Bouwmeester, Parayko. I don't see any. I don't see any of those guys. And again, I'm not making fun of the Blues or the Leafs team, but I don't see any of those guys there. That little guy named Jordan Bennington, So and this is not saying that he got lucky. He had to put these guys together and get them to play the right way. But there is a ton of work to do with that Leafs team to get them to close to that level of play.
Yeah, and when I talk about the formula for playoff hockey and success, and I covered that Stanley Cup final, so I covered I covered that team. I was there. There were shifts where it's like, which line is out here? Like you almost can't tell which line is out there because they all play the same way.
100%. Right? And I think that when you look, when I played, every time I look back and we play a team that won the Stanley Cup, you think back, like they were this 4 lines deep. And so not to bring it back to Oilers, but when you get rolling, it's just line after line after line is coming at you. And you're like, this is relentless the way these guys play. Mm-hmm. It does make a big difference. And he had that with St. Louis. They were relentless. And he had Bouwmeester and Parayko. They would just eat minutes, eat 20, 25 minutes, just eat those minutes up, just gobble them up. And just, then that freed up Pietrangelo and others to do different things. So yeah, I'll be interested because it is a very different team, that Maple Leafs team. And they have a lot of work. They have some decent young players like it was at Cowan coming up. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. I can't wait.
All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our great friends over at Backscape. Struddy, we're going to do Relentless Player of the Night. So if you've got that prepped and ready to go, we'll get to that. And then Steve, after that, we will do the scoreboard, and then we will get to Ask Us Anything. So let's get to our Relentless Player of the Night, Struds, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. If you're looking to hire entry-level staff for your company, UCAN Youth Services trains youth in pre-employment skills to help get them ready, willing and able to join your team. Check out www.ucan.ca for more information. Who are we giving the nod to tonight, my friend?
Wyatt Johnson, Dallas Stars. Again, I watched a lot of that. Well, a good chunk of that game before we came on air. And, that the first goal is a shorthanded goal. And he got on arguably the best skater on the back end. Cale Makar caused a turnover. Him and Stam Steele, local product, get after it. And in the end, he just keeps on it, and he's the one who whacks it in. So just this guy is so young and so good. He's 7 goals this playoffs. I think it's his birthday tomorrow. 21 tomorrow. Like what a career this guy's had. He's not even 21. Just crazy.
Struddy, he's got 8 shots on net and 12 shot attempts on net.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and I think we got to be careful. Like the Avs were not themselves tonight at all. Yeah, they are not even close to themselves. But now they're down 3-1. This feels like it's going to be really hard for the Avs to pull out. But maybe with a day or two to kind of talk amongst themselves, maybe they can find a way.
Johnson would look good in an Oilers sweater, hey?
Well, yeah, he looked good in every jersey.
Oh, the things that could have been, that was our Relentless Player of the Day, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. Steve Taylor, hop on in here, my friend, for the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center scoreboard, aiming to help you play better golf with golf fitting instruction, after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing, celebrating 25 years. Check out their pro shop style atmosphere, located at 5311 99th Street here in Edmonton. We got the music, we got the tunes, we got the scoreboard tunes. Yep. Yep. That's Zuby approved right there.
Oh, yeah. I think he might have recorded this himself. Yeah. So, yeah, just a couple games tonight. Obviously, we alluded to the Stars-Avs game that just ended. Final score is 5-1 Stars. Yeah, man, it's a tough one. Apparently, Rupi Hintz left the game with an upper body injury.
Oh.
Yeah, that popped up at one point. I haven't.
Great footnote. Footnote.
Little footnote there. The only other game, out east, Carolina Rangers. Man, what a series this has turned out to be after it looked for a while like the Rangers were just going to walk away with it. They were up 3-0, and then up 3-1 coming into tonight. No goals in the first period at all. Second period, Jacob Trouba scores shorthanded to open the scoring, and I'm thinking, okay, now it's over. And then third period starts, and Carolina scores 3 goals in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, it was like 6 minutes and 23 seconds, 3 goals. So, and then a empty netter at the end to seal the deal. So 4-1 Carolina. So, yeah, that was interesting. Very few shots and very few quality chances, I should say, for the Rangers tonight. And back to Carolina Thursday night. So we'll see how that goes.
All right. Of course, we got the Bruins and the Florida Panthers tomorrow night, and then Game 4 between the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. That was our scoreboard, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Great crowd tonight on an off night on the live stream. Really appreciate you joining us. So let's get to some of your thoughts. And Steve, maybe we'll start with the results of the poll, but this segment brought to you by Renee Buclan of Maxwell Devonshire Realty, the Shark of the Park. She's all about amazing service for her client. Buying a house is a huge deal, so you need someone you can trust who you know is working 24/7 to either sell your home or help you find a new one. Renee's doing some work for us right now, and I have to say the customer service is fantastic. She's extremely knowledgeable, really takes great care of you. So if you are looking to do anything on the real estate front, give her a shout. Really recommend her. 780-994-0280. That's 994-0280. How'd that poll turn out there, Steve-O?
Pretty much as expected. So the question simply being who gets the start for Game 4. We got 46% of people said Pickard gets the start. 29% was Skinner. 15% for Zuby. So quite a few for Zuby.
Right.
And there were a lot of people voting too. And then
how many times is he able to vote for himself though?
That's a good. I don't know how many accounts he has. And how many times he logged in. He's probably got a lot of family members on there and friends. But Campbell with only 8%. So yeah, sounds like Pickard is the lock according to the Got Your Back chat for tomorrow night.
What else we got on there, bud?
Okay, so Chris R asks if you were to pick one or the other, and I know the answer is both, but this is a fun question here. Should the Oilers focus more on shooting the puck or completing hits? More shots on net tomorrow or more hits tomorrow night? Let's start with Strud.
How many more shots do you want? They had 40 shots. 80? And then how many shot attempts are huge? I think the shots are covered off. I honestly, guys, I think this way off track. I think that Shelos has played well, but I think he's also getting a bit of luck, as they like to call it. And I think sooner or later, some of these pucks are going to go in. But I'll take some hits. I again, only blowing guys up, but just wearing down. So I would take the hits, guys.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about hockey, though, guys, you can do both. Imagine that, a game where you fire a pile of pucks on net and throw a pile of hits and play intense and finish checks and just get on the other team, right? Make that physical investment in the series because it's going to be a long one. So my answer is both, for goodness sakes, because you bloody well can.
Fair enough. Quaddy says, would you consider taking Perry out for a game? Would you actually have him sit for a game? And somewhat related, Leaky37 says, do you think we'll ever see Carrick or Gagne in this series, realistically? Schauger.
Yeah, I think Carrick will play tomorrow. I don't think it'll be for Corey Perry. I wouldn't be surprised to see Janmark, Carrick, and Ryan as the fourth line.
So Brown out.
Yep.
That feels right. Can't see taking Perry out. I can maybe see Perry drop down the fourth line, but I don't know. I just can't see him. He's there for a reason.
You can't. The problem with dropping him down, Struds, is you don't have the skaters on the fourth line to sustain that. You can't have a fourth line that has Carrick and Perry on it.
Yeah,
you can't. Perry needs to be with McLeod and Fogle maybe on that third line.
And I'd like to see that. But I want to see those guys get 13 minutes. Give them a real chance, give them a real shot. Maybe
now you could conceivably go with Fogle and Perry and throw Carrick in the middle of those two, because Fogle can skate the puck pretty well, and at least you've got some speed on there. And if you want to elevate Janmark a little bit, I mean, really at that point, which is your third and which is your fourth line? And then you've got Janmark with McLeod, and so potentially you could look at doing something like that. I'd love to see Sam Gagner find his way into this series, but again, I think Carrick's the more likely choice, and I think you can't do both those guys at the same time.
When we were talking about hitting, Zoe R said Holloway had 4 hits in just over 11 minutes.
7 2 games ago.
Yeah.
So there you go. Pradaneski says Oilers have to be more physical. 2 years ago against LA, they were down 3-2. McDavid set the tone with a massive hit in Game 6 and got the win, and did the exact same thing in Game 7, won us the series. Do you think we'll see anything like that tomorrow night? If we need more physicality, will it come from our leader? Struds.
Well, we saw it from Lindholm and Dakota Johnson, although they're not the captains, that Lindholm's a pretty important part of their team. I just, I look at it this way. You need to just I want them to be ready to match or exceed the competitive level of the Vancouver Canucks on shift one. So whatever line you think that is, fire those guys out the door and say, guys, you're setting the tone for not just the first period, for 60 minutes.
Connor McDavid hit more this season than I think he ever has before. He's got 9 hits in 3 games in this series. So 3 per game, that's a pretty good total for him. But what I would say is I don't see him going for the big ones necessarily. I think he came into these playoffs a little dinged up. And I think he's probably being a little bit careful with that, not wanting to hurt himself. Leon Draisaitl most certainly is. So I'm not looking for Connor McDavid to be the guy that goes in there and especially because of the size of the defenseman he's playing against, he'll find his spots and he'll pick his spots. He's got to keep himself healthy. But I'm looking at Darnell Nurse. I'm looking at Vinny Desharnais, who, by the way, has almost no physicality, no hits so far. I'm looking at, Cody Susi, for goodness sakes, one of the biggest, strongest players on the team, pound for pound. I'm looking at Warren Fogle, who has been throwing the body, but could still stand to do it more for sure. Evander Kane, definitely. Corey Perry, when he can get, everybody just needs to do a little bit more. McDavid and Draisaitl when they can, but they're nursing some injuries, I think.
Yeah, it's Relsta says this team has lacked spurts of energy. Cassian had that. Kane has to have that in him somewhere. And Rye Guy says, I miss Kostin right now. Imagine Kostin versus Zadorov. So yeah, just, missing some Oilers players with energy, and I think hoping that they come out as somebody tomorrow night.
Struds, what about the idea that Quinn Hughes has played 73 minutes and 58 seconds in this series? How many times do you think he's been hit? 73 minutes and 58 seconds through 3 games with what should be a focus on hitting and getting a body on him we can agree, get a body on him every chance you get, correct? Would be the idea?
Yes. I would say that as the series has gone on, he's been hit less.
So what would you say for a total through 3 games? 73, 58.
I don't know, 10 times.
6.
Yeah. And I can think of 2 times you got absolutely rocked. So now you're getting down pretty low.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what that was against Nashville.
Yeah. A couple more, Steve.
KD says, get Stetcher in ASAP. They need to move the puck up and be better and more physical in the D zone. Thoughts there, Struds?
He's not getting in before those other 6. I'd be blown away. I'd be absolutely blown away.
A lot of guys want Susi to sit a game, but
Susi.
That's
Desharnais is a bigger concern at this point. I mean, Desharnais, I'm not sure the guy's healthy enough to, that for me, that's a bigger concern.
Mm-hmm.
You, Struds?
Yeah, because yes, he needs to introduce himself physically into the series, and if he can't do that, he's definitely limited, right, to what he can do. But you can't take him out because he's a pretty good penalty killer, and that's the problem. So yeah, Stetcher could move the puck as well. Maybe he's a pretty chippy little guy too, or not little guy, but a player. But the penalty kill is the big challenge.
I'm going to find that number for you, by the way. Hits taken by Quinn Hughes in the Nashville series, and I'm going to go to all strength, so just let me adjust that. Quinn Hughes was hit 20 times against the Nashville Predators.
Let's sorry, you're muted, Struds.
You're muted there, bud.
How many games that go? 5 or 6?
That
5, 6.
That went
So
6.
that's, you got hit 3 times a game.
Yeah.
That's not crazy.
It's not a ton more than this, but
No.
I think there were some pretty good ones and some pretty big ones.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's end it with a fun one then. Northern Farm Girl says, what's your choice? Pulled barbecue beef sandwich on a bun or pulled barbecue pork sandwich?
I prefer the pulled pork to the pulled beef.
Absolutely.
Struds.
Struds is really thinking about this.
Yeah.
We've broken Struds.
Either way, there's some serious mustard happening.
Yeah. I probably pulled pork, I think, as well. Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right. That was Ask Us Anything. Thank you for all of your contributions. Brought to you by the Shark of the Park, Renee Bouclan. Let's wrap the podcast with our play of the day. Brought to you by Play Alberta. The playoffs are fun. We know that. And this year, they're making it even funner. Make a deposit with the promo code GYB50. That snags you a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready. They've got great promotions throughout the playoffs, odds boosts on every Oilers playoff game. You can get a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for a playoff game when you make a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. And as always, please play responsibly. Struds, what do we got today, man? Lots of action on the pod tonight. Lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, but I'm going to go with the first goal that Carolina scored. Their captain on a change, busts in around the D-man, tucks it in far side on his backhand. Jordan Staal, maybe not the goal scorer he once was. Not that he was, Austin Matthews, but this guy, that was a huge goal for him.
It's a gritty goal. I liked it.
Yeah.
Hard to the net, man.
Yeah, and a great goal. Gets it around Shersterkin. So Jordan Staal, play of the day, man.
I would say runner-up for me, to try and reinforce one of your own points. You quoted the Queen. Or no, you quoted Mother Teresa, actually.
Mother Teresa, yes.
What was that quote again?
Be the change you want to see in the world.
We'll leave you with that, folks, because really, if there's one thing for you to take away from this podcast, it's that you can be the change. What is it? Be the change you want.
Be the change. You never heard this growing up? Where did you grow up? Be the change you want to see in the world. I'm pretty sure it's Mother Teresa now. I better double check it.
Remember, you can be the change that you want to see in this world. If Struddy can get mustard back at Subway, any of us can do anything. Struds, thanks, buddy. Bit of a weird for you. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little weird. You brought the energy, but bit of a shipwreck night for you.
Well, let's see what happens with the two goalies the next two games. And I don't think Mother Teresa actually said that. It was attributed to Gandhi, but he didn't say it either. So I'm glad I double checked that fact. Not that
Did you just fact check yourself really quick?
Yeah, because I don't think anyone's actually revisiting it. So okay. So anyway, so we can agree. Anyways, it's a great saying. It's a great saying. My bad.
The point remains, folks.
Yeah. Still
have a fantastic day. Thanks for all of you that joined us on the live stream. Thanks for everybody that is listening in download form and podcast form. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Sherwood Buick GMC, and all of our sponsors. We'll see you after game 4, folks. Enjoy.